Ah, the Cordoba. Nightmares come alive. And tonight on my episode my episode it's 1:59 a.m. On my episode of I Can't Sleep and memories, more memories. This is the car that actually brings back many, many memories. And so my mom in 1976 convinced my father to buy her a 1976 Chrysler Cordoba. Why? I'll tell you why. Hold on. Let's find out why in this short little video. Here we go. My mother was in love with Ricardo Montalban. Yes, and my father did not know that. Here we go.
I know my own needs. And what I need from an automobile, I know I get from this new Cordoba.
How did he say it like that? Cordoba. Wait, I can't do that. Motherfucker, wait. Cordoba. No. Damn it. I did a DNA test. I found that I'm Basque from some part of Spain. And I should be able to do this. Hold on. Cordoba. Fuck, I can't do it. Wait, how does he do it? Wait. I gotta roll the tongue. No, wait. How do Spanish people roll their tongue? No, I can't fucking do it. Hold on. Cordoba. Oh, phenomenal. All right, I can't do it. Hold on. I can't do it. All right, let's watch this fucking commercial again from the beginning. Because I don't shut the fuck up. All right, let's go.
I know my own needs. And what I need from an automobile, I know I get from this new Cordoba. I could ask for nothing beyond the quality of Cordoba's workmanship, the tastefulness of its appearance. I request nothing beyond the luxury of seats available in rich crushed velour or soft.
Oh, fuck, that's what they called it? Crushed velour. Well, I'll tell you about crushed velour. Okay, so if somebody owns my mother's 1976 Chrysler Cordoba, if it's still out there and not in a junkyard, because this fucking thing always broke down like every other weekend, and yes, she brought it brand new. Those crushed velvet seats have my DNA on it. Because I vomited and puked my guts up every single time I went for a ride in the Cordoba.
Corinthian leather. Yet it is on the highway where Cordoba best answers my demands.
I can't help it.
I have much more in this small Chrysler than great comfort at a most pleasant price. I have great confidence, for which there can be no price. In Cordoba, I have what I need.
I'd have what I need in a Cordoba. Oh my God. And now I'm talking with a Spanish accent. Help me, God. Okay, so here's some dude showing his Cordoba, but this is a 1975 version, and this is boring as fuck to most of you. And so here's what he was saying. Basically, it was something Spanish. And let's listen to what the dude has to say.
But whoever put it together, however it just came together, it worked. People liked it. They wanted it and they bought it. The name Cordoba comes from a city in Spain, and the styling, colors, and trim are meant to evoke sort of a Baroque theme with of the 20 colors you could get a Cordoba in them, 11 of them were...
Yeah, my mother got it in maroon. She called it maroon. Hey, I got the maroon Cordoba. And I said, Mommy, I never heard of that color before because I had Crayola crayons. I probably had like the 24 pack, and there was never maroon inside the 24 pack of Crayola crayons. And she said, no, it's maroon. And I'm like, maroon? Okay, it's a maroon. And that's what she called it. I don't know if it's really maroon. I call it burgundy.
Shades of brown, including this one. It was meant to evoke all sorts of Spanish romance, but, without the knife fighting.
Okay, now I know my mother's secret. Well, fuck me. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so my mother. Now I know why we had all this Spanish shit in my house when I was a kid. Oh, my God, it just dawned on me. So when she died... I'm a Snoopy bastard. I went through a bunch of her things, and there was this young man, let's just put it that way, probably like when she was a teen in the late 1960s, around like I'm talking like 67, 68. In like 50 pictures, there was this young Hispanic male. And I did not know who he was. I'm like, who's this guy? And she's like posing in many pictures. They're hugging. And I'm like, who is he? So I asked my uncle, I was like, there's a Spanish looking guy in mom's old photo album. And there's like 50 pictures and she's hugging him. Who is this guy? And he goes, oh, that's Joe. He goes, it's Jose, but she called him Joe. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, she was in complete love with him and wanted to marry him. And he had another girlfriend who was Spanish. And his mother didn't approve of your mother being Italian. And your Italian grandmother, my mother, he said, did not want her dating a Spanish guy. And I'm like, what? You mean there was racism back then too? And yeah, and apparently my mother wasn't allowed to date him because his family didn't like her because she was Italian, or as they said in New York City, the non-Italians said Itralian. And yeah, and her family wanted her with an Italian boy. Turns out she married a Scottish man, and he was approved. And yeah, and so that's why we find so many Jose pictures in her photo album. And then the Cordoba, get it? Cordoba. And then when I was a kid, she had a Spanish statue. I shit you not. It was this giant, life-size Spanish conquistador. He was a conquistador, and he was in my living room, and he was fucking scary as fuck. I think he had some kind of like spear or some shit in his hand, and he was wearing a helmet made out of steel. Well, it was made out of plaster, the statue. And so one day I was playing with the statue, even though it frightened the shit out of me, and I tied a jump rope around his neck. Yes, I did. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. I think I was 3 or 4. Tied the jump rope to one end of the Spanish conquistador's neck and the other end to the arm of the couch. And I decided I was going to play jump rope. Not jump rope, but I mean clothes hanging or domestic duty type of child's play. And so my babysitter was really overweight, let's just put it. And she had come to the house to do laundry because everybody did laundry at my house, because my house was the only house in Queens, New York that had a fucking washing machine and dryer. So all the friends and family would come to my house to do laundry. It became like a laundromat. So her clothes were still wet, and I went into the washing machine and the cycle was over, and I placed her denim skirt, yes, one wet denim skirt over the jump rope, and the head of the Spanish conquistador went flying across the room, and it fucking flew. I mean, 20 feet in the air. And, oh my God, I started like shitting my pants. I said, oh my God, my mother's going to kill me. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Oh my God. But my mother happened to see it, and I heard her laughter coming from the other room, because in my house you could see shit from every angle, from every room. And she saw it and was laughing with a sick laugh. And I said, I'm so sorry, Mommy. I took his head off by accident. And she said, ooh, let's try to put the head back on before your father comes home. And I said, oh, please, God, I was saying out loud, please let the head go back on the statue. Daddy's going to kill me. And she was actually lying to me because my father hated that statue for some reason, and I did not know why. And so it was such a clean break. It actually balanced perfectly on top of the statue. But if you jumped up and down or moved just slightly a little bit on the floorboards, the head was going to come flying off again. She knew that, but I didn't know that. And so she said, if you're good, shh. And she put her finger up to her mouth. I won't tell Daddy. And so I was terrified of getting caught for breaking the head off of that statue. So back to our Spanish. Oh my God, where is this going? Okay, the Cordoba. And yes, here's the Cordoba. Here's a little more info about these cars.
The first spokesman for the car, not very famously, was a guy named Richard Basehart, who was in
That's not Ricardo. Where's Ricardo Montalban?
some journey under the sea thing in the 60s, and actually went on to being the pilot of Knight Rider. He played one of the knights, you know, the family that made the car to go kill people or whatever it was going to do. And he was also the guy that did the narration for that show in the beginning, you know, the journey into the world of
Where's
a man
Ricardo?
who does not exist. And so that was one of my youth things. But anyway, he was quickly fired. I guess he was shit. And much more
Yeah, he wasn't sexy enough. Ricardo, we want Ricardo.
famously, Chrysler hired Ricardo Montalban of Star Trek's Khan and Fantasy Island's O'Rourke fame. Where do you get O'Rourke, by the way, out of Ricardo Montalban? I'd love to know that. That
Oh my God, there's tattoo. The plane, boss, the plane. I can't help
makes a lot
myself.
of Rourke. It sounds like some Scottish gardener, you know? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that was...
Hey, don't you be putting the Scottish peeps down. I'm half Scottish, damn it. Well, actually, I found out I'm Basque. And, yeah, more Basque than Scottish. Yeah, DNA, baby, DNA. You find out things you shouldn't know.
his name. But anyway, so they got Ricardo Montalban. He was all over, you know, print media and TV media, pumping these things, talking about the car's rich Corinthian leather, which has gone on to be a theme
My mother did not have the Corinthian leather model. It was velour or velvet.
that people even still know today. I mean, people who, they weren't even born when people were 10, they still know what Corinthian leather is. So, and what it is was the thing made up by an ad agency to describe leather that was actually made at a processing plant in Newark, New Jersey, but it just didn't sound very exciting. So on you got with Corinthian leather, and it just became a thing. So, so there it is. There's the general overview of the
Okay, so back to our Cordoba and more about it. So here is, wait, is this it? Where's the damn other video? My goodness, I can't find it now. Okay, so back to the Cordoba. And yes, the Cordoba. And yeah, we're going to turn this into like an 8-hour video. How's about that? So the Cordoba, my mother drove that thing like shit. Okay? She was blind. My mother was legally blind in her right eye. She refused to wear glasses because she was too vain. She did not want to have glasses, you know, hiding her beauty. And yeah, so we drive around in the Cordoba, in the maroon Cordoba, and yeah, it had a moonroof. I don't know if you can call it that, a sunroof, moonroof, whatever the hell you call it. Had a fucking crank, and I always wanted to open it. I'd say, Mom, can we open up the roof? I want to open it up so bad. And she'd say, no, my hair's going to get messed up in a New York accent. And I'd say, but who cares about your hair? And she'd say, I care about my hair. I don't want it to get messed up, you know. I spend an hour on my hair, you know. We don't want to mess up the hair. And so she'd never roll the fucking windows down either. It could be, I don't know, 99 degrees. And if the AC, well, we had AC. Actually, this car actually had AC. But she never wanted to roll the windows down. And so she'd be smoking, chain smoking, that is, in the Cordoba. And she'd keep smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette with the windows up. No moon roof open, baby. And I used to say, Mom, I can't breathe. I feel sick. I feel green. And she'd say, oh, we'll be home soon. Don't worry. And I'd say, Mom, please, I'm going to throw up. So I'd always yak inside the car. One time, it was so bad, I was drinking High C. And if anyone knows what, oh, no, Hawaiian Punch. It was Hawaiian Punch. It's that red liquidy shit that's supposed to taste like fruit punch. And yeah, I should never have drunk Hawaiian Punch before I got in the car, the Cordoba, with her. Because, yeah, she was a shit driver. And so she would stop short all the time because with her fucked up eye, she would always think the cars in front of her were much closer than they were. And she'd stop short constantly in the Cordoba. And she'd be smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. And so I said, Mommy, I'm not feeling too good. And I'd say, roll down the window, please. And she'd say, my hair's going to get messed up. And so I started puking and projectile vomiting all throughout the Cordoba. But guess what? I drank Hawaiian Punch. It was the same fucking color as the seats. And so to this day, no stain ever appeared. And yeah, that's the one story. The other story was the time that my mother and I went to the supermarket. And back then, we didn't have the A&P. We didn't have Piggly Wiggly. We didn't have Stop and Shop in our area of Queens. It was local markets. There was never any fucking parking. And so you couldn't get a parking spot anywhere in Queens, New York. You'd have to circle the block 89 times like a vulture, waiting for some other schmuck to pull out of a spot that you can get. And it never happened. And so what did my mother do? Oh, my mother was a sort of a rule breaker. And she'd always park in front of what we called in New York City the Johnny Pump. She'd say, I'm going to just park here. And I'd say, Mommy, there's a sign. It says no parking here. Fines up to whatever money it was. She'd say, well, I'm just going to be quick. We'll run in and out of the market. I'd say, Mom, it's against the law. Oh, I'm going to be quick. And every single time we came out, what would be there on the windshield under the wiper was a ticket until she got so many tickets for parking in front of hydrants or Johnny pumps that one day my dad just so happened to go in her car and was rummaging for something. He opens up the glove compartment and about 60 unpaid tickets flew out of the glove compartment, and they were all Johnny Pump tickets. And yeah, that was my mother. Speaking of Johnny Pumps, we went to the market. There was no parking. So what does she do? She parks right next to the Johnny Pump, in front of it, actually. And so we get into the car. She's pulling out of the spot in her own way because she's blind in one eye. And we heard boom, and the whole car shook. And then I saw a geyser shoot up in the air about 20 feet. She knocked the fire hydrant over. I said, oh my God, Mom, you hit the fire hydrant. And she took off and I smelled the rubber burning. I said, Mommy, the cops are going to arrest us. And you know what she said? Not if they didn't see us. And so that's the story of the Cordoba. And I hope you enjoyed my little New York City reminiscing, going back in the Wayback Machine. And this was probably 1976. The Cordoba, by the way, was a piece of shit. After about 2 years, every fucking week, the Cordoba had to go to the shop because it was always breaking down. Thanks for watching. See you guys all soon, and so long.